Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Critical Podcast. My name is Jimmy Good, and I am the General of the Legion. And joining me today is not my go-to podcast compadre, Joe. Believe it or not, it's my old friend, Levi. Levi, thank you so much for joining me. How are you doing?
Hola, doing well. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. So, Levi, like I told you before we started here tonight, before we get into all the goodness that we have here, I want to give people a baseline. I want people to know who you are because they can't even see you right now because that's how secretive you are. You want to keep your identity hidden behind a cloak. But I want you to tell us what your favorite video game franchise might be, and or what favorite movie that you have. Just give people a baseline of who you are.
Franchise. Okay, I would say Warcraft series would be my favorite go-to if I had to. Blizzard in general, Blizzard fanboy right here. And favorite movie franchise, obviously Lord of the Rings. Obviously, go-to. If I was stranded on an island, Lord of the Rings the whole time.
Is there any one of the Lord of the Rings films particularly that you love any more so than the others?
Oh man, I absolutely love Fellowship of the Ring, and I'll tell you why. I love that feeling of the beginning of an adventure.
Yeah.
Freaking love it. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think it's also the most magical. It kind of reminds me of the first two Harry Potter films where there's just kind of a lot of magic itself. It just feels like there's something cool happening, and just the coming together of all these things and the building of that world.
Yeah,
man, Fellowship.
Well, and we've talked about this too before. I'm a big fan of movies that are taking in a different sense. I love visiting different places within a movie, and I love the movement and the flow of Fellowship is just perfect. They start off in Bag End, and then they end up with freaking Gandalf freaking out on the Balrog, and it's just craziest.
That's true.
Moria,
and then,
absolutely.
Yep. And then even the very, very beginning, you start off Mount Doom, and then they even go to Gondor at one point, really briefly, and then they go to Rivendell. Yep. They're just going all over the place. That movie, there's so many different places they go to, and I completely agree. It's there's always a new thing to move to. That's why it moves at a brisk pace, I think,
Absolutely.
For us. Yeah, don't even forget seeing Galadriel, that whole sequence.
Oh my gosh, yeah, she's just so pretty.
Oh man, Fellowship.
Played Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett, my girl.
Oh yeah, she's great. She's
only
great.
I
loved her in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh wait, what? Oh no,
because everybody's always oh, I forget who. Everybody mixes up Natalie Portman and Kate Blanchett and Keira Knightley. It's it's not the same person. Might as well make it a three-headed demon and just switch his faces for different movies.
I think Kate Blanchett would take that as quite a compliment because I think she's a little bit older than either of those two other actresses. But
absolutely,
that's okay. Except Thor Ragnarok, man, Kate Blanchett. I freaking can't wait.
She's in it?
Yeah, dude. Haven't you seen that? She's the trailers. She's Hela. She breaks his hammer and she's like, Asgard is dead.
No, she's the villain?
Yeah, dude. It's gonna be sweet.
Oh my god, I didn't recognize her at all.
Oh, she looks great.
Oh my god,
superb.
And it looks like she hasn't aged a bit. Seriously.
Yeah,
You watch her in The Hobbit and you're like, girl, it's been 10 years.
Yeah, she made a pact. She made the same pact Jennifer Aniston and John Stamos made. With the devil or whatever, they just don't age anymore.
No. It's the rings. They have their own
rings. The rings. That's true. She's got a ring. Anyway, all right, cool. So now we know that. We know a little bit about you. And, if people are kind of confused at this point, what we're talking about here, we talk about games, movies, TV shows, all that good stuff. But it was E3 this week. Levi's E3. It's too much. I could barely take it. I did live streaming of all the reactions to all these press conferences. It was a lot. You were there for some of them, Levi.
Yes, E3 was a roller coaster of disappointment, and, and there was some great stuff too. But I've
never heard of a roller coaster of disappointment. That sounds so sad. But there's some good things. But I want to go through each of the press conferences pretty briskly here, just to go over some of the good things that we both liked or maybe we didn't like. So let's start off with EA, which for me was really, really painful. It was the first one that came up. It came up on Saturday. And I remember going into it and they're like, yep, there's definitely gonna be a half-hour Star Wars at the end. So that was the light at the end of the tunnel. And they had a few things in there that were kind of cool. There's this new game where I think it was A Way Out, I think it was, where it's co-op story. It was very interesting. It was if one guy's in a cinematic cutscene, the other guy could still be walking around somewhere else, and you kind of have to do this whole story with a buddy, more or less, or that's the best way to do it. And there's couch co-op. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it's a Prison Break kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's stuff afterwards. I thought it was just going to be Prison Break, but it looks like there's a lot after that too, kind of thieving and stuff, and trying to be on the lam. So, did you like that one? Is that appealing to you at all?
Yeah, I will support any game that actually tries new things in 2017.
Sure.
Anything that tries any new type of idea or anything like that.
Yeah, for sure. And then, there was a bunch of other stuff in there, but I think some of the big things, obviously, like FIFA, Madden, and then like NBA and stuff like that.
Need for Speed.
Yes.
Yep,
Oh, which,
yep.
yeah, there was some kind of issues. I don't know. There's a lot of problems with this press conference as far as kind of just direction goes. They
didn't have a theme. They were like, let's just put it in a freaking shotgun and blow it up against the wall and we'll just spew it all out. But
yeah, but I don't know. Like, you're not a big sports fan, at least for games anyway. So, like, do you care about any of that stuff? Because I know for me, I'm like, like whatever.
no, not really. And I'll tell you why. I feel like they don't change very much at all between year to year. So
Sure. Yeah. Well, it's also weird too because like for FIFA, they're like, we've perfected, the ball handling skills and stuff. I'm like, well, why do you need to make one like presumably next year? It's just they sell really well, and I get it, Madden and FIFA especially. So they got to keep making that one. They got to keep talking about that one.
Oh yeah, I'm so great that you can perfect your ball handling skills. Why don't you come to my house on a Friday night?
Oh, that's great. But one of the things they're doing is they're kind of continuing the story mode from the last FIFA into this one, where you're still playing as like that protagonist, and they're also doing something similar with Madden. Which
Did you just say a story mode? Are you trolling me right now?
No, I'm not trolling you.
There's a story mode in these games.
Yeah, so like it's got like in FIFA. No, you play as like some up and comer in both instances.
Oh god!
And weirdly enough, the fictional guy for the FIFA game, I think it's like Alex Hunter, they actually did like get interviews from people who seemed to like actually be in the soccer world, and they were like talking about this guy as if he were real, and it just seemed really, really strange to me personally. But they're doing the same thing with NFL. It's like you're kind of, or Madden, they're kind of like, oh, up and comer, like you get to kind of decide your future, which I appreciate. They're trying to be a story because it's kind of hard to do one. But at the same time, it's just like that's not enough to get me in. I'm like,
I had no idea there was a story. I can't believe that.
It's the truth, I promise you. Anyway, not really that exciting, but it's okay because Star Wars was coming, and I kept telling myself, Star Wars is coming, Levi, don't worry about it, Star Wars is coming. And then
Star Wars, I love it. I think it's gonna be great.
Okay,
I watched that droid gameplay that you were bitching about. Oh, it was fantastic. People were running around with their little shield, and it was like, yeah, this is what I want to do, is be a droid from the army.
I can't tell if you're being serious. I really can't.
I'm halfway trolling. Hey, they did that before. Battlefront 2, they did that before.
Yeah. I think the thing that bothered me the most is that we watched this match kind of shoutcasted, which I almost I get why they had to.
That ruined the whole E3 conference for me. Every panel needed to be like that.
I know. It's just, I know esports is a big deal, but for me, I just kind of wanted to see this game. Like, the cinematic trailer was cool, but I really wish they would have just shown a snippet of the actual campaign itself, because they're actually having like a real story in this one, as opposed to just like throwaway stuff. So I was hoping to see something like that. Would you like to see something like from the campaign?
Yeah, I think that they're trying to keep that bottled up though, because people have been really craving that and really requesting that. And I feel like they're trying to keep that close to the chest. Honestly, like, I don't even need to see gameplay. I just miss the times when you could turn on E3 back in 2007 and Master Chief would walk out, and that was the whole thing. And people just they went nuts for that shit. Seriously. That's what I miss. I was sitting at Tim's house. We were watching E3 for Halo 3. Master Chief walks out, and people just go crazy. No talking over it. No need to... Oh, we're going to show you a gameplay video from a laptop that is in the next room. No one cares. Just show us the games.
Yes. EA did this, and Ubisoft did it too, where they did kind of like a cutaway to like they were at like a play booth or whatever. And it was like, in both cases, I think they were almost like outside. I know Ubisoft was, but they would show, it was like from a perspective of like the camera that was looking at a television that was like at a weird angle, and you couldn't really tell it. And then like the people were playing, like, oh man, this game looks amazing. Like, it's like, this is a bad way to show off your game, like a really bad way. Don't do this.
They did this for Breath of the Wild announcement last year too, but and the teasing up to Breath of the Wild, they did this. Nintendo did this, and what was great about that is they actually showed you being played on the Switch. I love that. Miyamoto, I think it was, actually showing you Breath of the Wild gameplay on a Switch. That's cool. I'll take that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
The other thing that really bothered me too, Levi, they did this for the third year in a row. They did this thing where they cut to like, oh look, it's like we're all working on Star Wars, and there's like all these playtesters are here, and so they're showing just like about like a lot of footage, a bunch of footage of just them hanging out in their offices and like off shots of like them working on a computer. I hate that. I'm like, please stop. This is just a waste of time. It's like all these people are here to like make our game better. That's fine. That's great. Just don't. This is like something you throw out on like a Tuesday afternoon. Like you could just. You don't have to spend E3 press conference time showing me this. I'm like, ugh. Like,
I know.
Drives me crazy, Levi. Drives me nuts. The one thing I did miss,
though... I shut off the broadcast, plugged in my PS1, and played Jedi Power Battle until I cried. That's just what I did. And just reminisce about the good old days. That's what I did.
See, I just turned on my PS2 and played Star Wars Battlefront 2, and I'm like, this game's better than this new one.
Yeah.
That might not be true. I could be wrong. I want to be wrong. I want to love this game, Levi.
Segue, what's your favorite Star Wars game?
Oh, it's, you know what, probably Star Wars Battlefront 2. I absolutely love that game. I used to play that game. I would go and I'd play single player, and I'd go on Hoth, I crank up both the populations to like max, it was like 540 or something, like 700 like a piece, and just play for hours. Oh, absolutely. I loved it.
I loved being Yoda in Kashyyyk.
Yes. Yeah, the only problem, I Force Pull was hard.
And I loved that level because it felt like an actual war. You had a spot, and everybody was coming at you over the lake. And you were sniping, and that was great war feeling. Bring that feeling back. People love that. You know, they don't care about duck and cover and all this stuff, and like make it big and grand and make it fun. Like that's what people loved about Battlefront, is the explosions and going nuts. And man,
yeah. Well, I think the scale. You know, when I played the Battlefront like beta back last year, I thought, or was it 2 years ago now? I don't even know. But when I played that, I was like, oh, this is pretty good. But I remember feeling kind of like I was in Battlefield, where I would just die and I couldn't respond to it. I'd just be a sniper, an explosion. I was just like, oh, I just ran for 5 minutes and then died.
Exactly.
Like, it's almost too big. Like the maps are almost too big for me to play. I'm like, it's too much. I don't know if you felt that at all when you played the old one.
No, I actually felt like the old maps were really great for that big battlefield. At least that's what my memory is of it. But yeah.
Okay, cool. Nice. Anyway, yeah, so EA, I guess we can maybe kind of rate all these at the end, but for me, it was easily the lowest one. It made me the most angry, and it was very painful to watch. There's like a few glimmers of hope, and then it was just like really just like messed up. I don't know why. I was like, you're killing me. Anyway, but we're moving on. We're moving on from EA because we don't want to talk about EA anymore, Levi. I don't want to talk about Now let's move over to Microsoft. So now, Levi, the interesting thing about this press conference is that they started off talking about the Scorpio, which is like the next Xbox. Now it's Xbox One X, which is an acronym basically for Xbox. So they talked about that, but I didn't feel like they pushed it on me. I don't know if you felt like it was pushed on you at all, but it felt like it was just kind of there. It was like, hey, if you want for like $500, you can get this like really, really nice piece of hardware. And if you have a TV that goes with it, it'll be great. The games will look the best on there, but we still have games coming for Xbox One S and things like that. So did you feel like the Scorpio had a good announcement?
I feel like it did. I loved them showcasing it. They were very, chill about it this year. They weren't really forcing it down people's throats. And I think that's because we've got the Xbox One, we've got the Xbox One S, we've got the Xbox 3 million. We've got all these consoles, and everybody's just releasing console after console after console. 3DS, for example, there's 8 different 3DSs right now. Like,
that's a lot.
Back in the day, everybody had one Xbox console, one PS2, and one version of each. And then you got a Slim 7 years later.
Yeah,
that was it.
Much. Yeah,
like, come on now. I don't know. I think it's gonna be great, but I don't know how many people are going to want to rebuy another console.
Yeah,
I myself have 2 Xbox Ones in my house.
Okay. And why do you have 2?
Well, one for the downstairs and one for upstairs. Duh.
Well, do you have a TV that even put output in 4K?
No, not yet. No, and that's another thing. You got to upgrade to that too.
Yeah.
Anybody got the money for that?
Yeah,
it's America 2017.
That's true. One cool thing, a feature that they did introduce or talk about, is that they're going to try to like up-res a lot of these games. Especially for like Gears of War 4 and stuff, it's going to be like up-res. But they're talking about backwards compatibility with the original Xbox, which
I read that today. Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really cool. I thought that was like a really just smart thing to do, because the 360 backwards compatibility, a lot of people are loving it. And I think a lot of Xbox fans who've been fans since the beginning, this is just something that's like, hey, you know what? We know you love these games. We're going to try to do our best to bring those games to like, so you can play them anytime, anywhere, like, with this new console.
Smart idea. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Another thing that they did that I really, really liked and appreciated is that they showed off a few games that were developed in Japan. Now, it wasn't anything as crazy as like a Dragon Quest or something. I was kind of hoping for like a big JRPG, but Code Vein, which is kind of like this new Dark Souls, like vampire, almost like the characters look a little anime, and then they also showed off Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Fighter Z, which is just, it's another DBZ game, but it does look very good. And I thought, after thinking about it a little bit more, I know Yoran Evers is really excited about this one, but it looks really good. And I think it's something that Xbox could really use because, when you think of Xbox, Levi, for me, I don't think of anything from Japan being on there. I think about it's like Sony and Nintendo, but like this kind of thing, these two things specifically, I was like, oh, that's cool. They're getting like more of that stuff. They're trying to embrace it, trying to kind of broaden their horizons. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. I loved the art style that they were taking with that new Souls game that you were talking about. What is it called?
Code Vein.
Yes, I watched the preview of I watched the conference with you. I think it looks great. It looks like they mixed Xenoblade Chronicles with Dark Souls and just have a lot going on.
Yeah,
I think it looks gonna look great. Yeah, a lot of people are jumping on that Souls bandwagon right now, though, and I don't really know if that's what the gaming world needs right now. We have enough of those titles.
Yeah, that's true.
We've got Bloodborne, we've got all the Soul series, we've got
we got Neo,
everything. Neo, and
does it bother you at all? Like for me, it's not like a big problem, but for like the faces on the characters in Code Vein, they're a little more like anime style. And that's like the only thing in the game that kind of looks like that. Does that bug you at all? Do you not even care? You're just like, whatever, it doesn't matter to me.
I feel like right now it's not going to bother me. And once I'm playing the game, maybe it might if in a cutscene or something. But for right now, I think it's pretty good. So
cool. They announced a few other things here, but I wanted to kind of do a little rapid fire here, and I want you to tell me which one you're the most excited about, Levi. So a prequel to Life is Strange Before the Storm, Crackdown 3, or Metro Exodus. Any of those jump out at you?
Metro looked awesome. It looked absolutely awesome. I loved it. God, and please execute it right. Please execute it.
I thought for the longest time it was like a new BioShock because I was like, it's either like a Metro or like a BioShock. I was like, I don't know if BioShock would try to do something like this, but it does like a little more fantastical than older Metro because Metro is usually pretty dark and gritty, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for me, I'm really excited about Life is Strange, that prequel Before the Storm. The only problem I have with it is that Ashley Birch, the voice actor for Chloe, is not going to be in it because of the SAG-AFTRA strike. They're kind of this voice acting strike they're doing right now, so they got a non-union actor to do that, and there's kind of an uproar about it. Even though I'm excited about the game, there's still like, it still hurts because like that's the character, the voice I connected with, and it's like, no, I was so excited, but I didn't really hear the difference while I was like freaking out. But
who knows? They could pull a Destiny 2 and rewrite all the lines of the dialogue.
That's true. Nolan North comes in to do.
It's been done. So
yeah, dude, you're totally true. Another game that they showed off, and they showed off a good chunk of the story. I kind of was hoping it was going to be like a side quest or completely optional, but let's see, Middle Earth: Shadow of War. Kind of promoting that along with the Scorpio and saying like it's going to look best in Scorpio and all that stuff. Did any of that hit home for you?
Yes, love Shadow of War. I think it's going to be great. I loved the first one. It was super fun. They really they nailed it with this game. I remember there was a Lord of the Rings game that came out a few years ago. God, and help me remember it. I can't remember the name of it, but there was so many. But they were talking about how they tried really hard to nail the Lord of the Rings feel, and it was the first rated R Lord of the Rings. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Oh, or the first like M-rated one, maybe?
Yeah. Sorry, the first M-rated Lord of the Rings. Yep. Everything had like black blood coming out of it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I've got it right here.
Yes.
War in the North.
Yes. They were like trying so hard with War in the North, and everybody was super pumped about that, and it didn't deliver. It didn't feel like a Lord of the Rings game, and that's what everybody said. It didn't feel like a Middle Earth game. I felt like this game really came through. I thought it was great.
Yeah, and I'm just excited because it's just more of what we had in this good game, which I think the first game was like really solid and really good, but it could be expanded upon in a lot of different ways. I remember, I've talked to you about this a few times. I've talked to a lot of people about this, but the Nemesis system was one of the first things in this new generation of consoles that I thought, man, this is next gen, and everybody's going to do it. Kind of like the Dark Souls like style of combat. Like everyone's going to do this type of thing. And then nobody did it. And then I was thinking, okay, when we get the sequel to Shadow of Mordor, we're going to get like a few other people, like 3 or 4 other groups that have tried it, and then they're going to come back and say, hey, guess what? We're the guys, we came up with the Nemesis system, and we're going to blow it out even bigger and better. They're still doing that. They just, like, no one's tried it yet, and I love that.
Well, the Nemesis system was awesome. It really was. But I feel like even Shadow of Mordor didn't really capitalize on it as much as they were touting about it. Like, it was great. The people would remember you, but if you played the game long enough, it was the same kind of things happening. Like, the same people would remember you, and the same situations would happen. Not as much diversity as was needed, if you know what I mean.
I think so, and I think they're going to expand upon it. It was kind of strange because sometimes you'd think for sure you killed an orc, and then you come back and be like, "Yeah, you burned me and thought I was dead," and you're like, "No, man, I'm pretty sure you were like, I'm pretty sure I killed you."
Yeah, that's what bothered me. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm hopeful that this next one, and it seems really cool, kind of not only getting them to join your side like you could in the last game, but truly kind of making them like your generals and having them be effective in these kind of attacks and sieges on other fortifications and strongholds. That's really cool to me. It's like sending in like your big guy and you're like, yeah, I specifically picked this guy to come help me with this. And I think that's really cool.
And one of the things I really wanted to do in Shadow of Mordor was create this big army and just jump a bunch of people, but you could only have so many on your team, and then it was just like, it wasn't as grand as it could have been.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. And now you like you're walking through your army and stuff. Not that we haven't seen that before this, but it's still so cool to me. And just like having Bruce, this guy, have so much personality. Like this game, like Talion seems so boring by comparison to these orcs and these Olegs or whatever, these trolls and things. Like it's like, oh, that's good though, because that's what this game really needed. Especially if like we're not going to get Gollum back or if we do, if we don't, I don't know. And also the boss fights. Let's hope the boss fights are better, because you remember the boss fights were not good.
Oh yeah, very lackluster. Very
like one like regular boss fight, and then the other ones were like, oh, just like you have to assassinate this guy a lot, or you have to jump.
Yeah. They could have done better with that. But I know Talion, the voice actor, he has a much bigger part in this game, and I'm really excited about that. I've read a few articles on it that he actually had a big part in writing his part for this, and he put a lot of energy into bringing Talion to life in this one. So I'm excited to see that.
Is it Troy Baker? Maybe.
Yeah, I will have to look it up to see who it is. But yeah,
I'm pretty sure. I think that's who it was for the first game. I could be completely wrong on this. We can fact check it in a second. But anyway, question for you though. Moving on after that, because I'm sure we're going to get into it more. It actually got pushed back recently from August to October, I believe. Shadow of War, or Shadow of Mordor. Shadow of War. There it is. I think it's so confusing because they keep changing these names. But yeah, Middle Earth, Shadow of War. Anyway, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, the sequel to Ori and the Blind Forest. I didn't play the first one, Levi, but I gotta tell you, this trailer made me want to cry. It was so
I didn't
beautiful.
play the first one either. Do you know that they actually handed out tissues?
What?
Yes,
really?
Okay. Look this up. This was great. I saw this. People were actually talking about how the handouts at E3 were better than the actual announcements. They handed out a little Ori tissue pack. I believe it or not, it's awesome. I mean,
I believe
great
you.
Marketing, you know.
That's really good. They're like, we know you're gonna cry. There's a really sad owl here.
Seriously, I wish I could make it up. Yeah.
Yeah, just a beautiful game. Even though I didn't play the first one, I just like that. There was just heart. There's heart there, and I love that in a press conference where it's like, yep, hey, this is gonna be a moment that's gonna impact you emotionally. Even if you haven't touched the other game, you're gonna be like, wow, this is pretty, and I feel something. Which
I'm definitely gonna try it. It seems great.
Yeah, Microsoft killing it. Another platformer though, kind of, I guess is more platformy than Ori, I would say, but Super Lucky's Tale kind of felt like a troll at first. They kind of hinted that it was going to be like Conquer, and now you're playing as like a kitty fox. You know, almost looks like Tails a little bit from Sonic. Do you have any feeling towards this? Kind of like a Rareware situation?
No, and I was looking at all the people freaking out about Conquers too, and I get it. I think that's what people want, and but I don't know. The game doesn't look so appealing to me.
Sure. Yeah, I appreciate that it's going to be there because that's something that a lot of people.
I'm also not a big side-scroller fan. I'm not.
Sure. Well, I think this one might be a little more open worldy, but it seems like it's side scroll sometimes. I don't know. I'm not sure. It was kind of changing perspectives, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, because a lot of people touted about that new Legend of Zelda game, A Link to the Past 2, which looked great, but I'm not a big fan of the side scrolling, and that's what a lot of that game was. It was flipping back and forth between the 3D world side scroller.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I completely understand that. I think that for
everybody,
for Xbox and Microsoft, they kind of want a character kind of like a Mario or a Sonic or something like that to say like, hey, you know, if we have a mascot in Lucky here, like, you know, he's going to do this kind of thing. Like, he'll kind of appeal to the kids, maybe to some people who like the old Rare stuff. if you like that old platforming stuff, we've got it here on Xbox.
Yeah,
so.
something for the kids. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, it could be for the adults too. There's a lot of people I'm sure are excited about it because it had a very rare feel to it. It felt like a very Banjo-Kazooie kind of situation, which is not a bad thing. I think I think Microsoft could use something like that besides ukulele. So, yeah.
And any game can be awesome, just execution.
Exactly. Totally, dude. That's so I love it. And the last game I want to talk about here, Levi, Sea of Thieves. How do you feel?
I think it looked great. I feel like we were all watching that together and being like, is this a troll right now? Or are we actually, what is this? Because I was scared at first that this was going to be like a Facebook game with the way that the art style looked and everything. I was like, what is this? It looks very low budget. It looks a little scary.
Looks low budget.
It did. It looked a little low budget. I mean, like in that gameplay with the shooting of the blunderbusses and stuff, looked a little low budget. But hey, we've been blown away by low budget games before. Tell me what I'm doing with the freaking treasure chest, and
yeah,
and we'll see what happens. I don't know.
Exactly, and it was revealed last year, and they did a really cool reveal where they were like showing the gameplay perspective of like a bunch of people like streaming it, so they were like up in the corner, so it kept jumping back and forth between different people's perspectives, just playing the game and having a good time. And I thought that was like a really effective way to show like the game. I think that was the reveal, or at least it was just like the big deal last year. But I'm hopeful for Sea of Thieves. We're gonna talk about some more pirates here in a little bit, but you're right. The gun and the sword combat doesn't look stellar, and I also do want to know what you do with the treasure, because in a lot of these pirates games, they're talking like, "Oh, you get all this treasure." I'm like, "Yeah, but what am I gonna like? Tell me what I do with it. How do I upgrade myself? Do I upgrade my boat? There's a lot of questions still. Looks like a lot of fun though, and obviously a game that you really shouldn't be playing alone. Like almost impossible to play alone. So.
And hopefully, it doesn't turn into something like Evolve, where you have to play with other people all the time.
Sure. Yeah, hopefully there'll be something there for people who are like, yeah, I want to jump with people once in a while, but I kind of want to explore by myself and not be worried I'm just going to get murdered all the time.
By now the player base has been very specific about what they want in games, and I feel like developers really need to start listening.
Yeah. For sure. All right, now we're moving on to Ubisoft, Levi. Far Cry 5. I gotta say, man, I'm kind of hyped about this game a little bit. After seeing it in action and like them playing through it a bit, I mean, yeah, you get a pet dog, which is not new for games, but it picks up the gun and brings it to you. I love that. You got a revolver, you're walking around, you're shooting these cultists. There's like co-op. I think the campaign might have like a co-op throughout all of it. It seems like it's going to be that way. I hope, because this game would be so much more fun with a friend. The question to you, Levi, is are you a Far Cry fan?
Well, the dog's name is Boomer, so that just hooked me right there. I'm not a huge fan of Far Cry. Okay. I have tried them, over the series, and I'm not a huge fan. No, I think a lot of they have a very big fan base, and I think a lot of people really like it. But for me, not crazy about it. We'll see. I like the setting of this one for sure.
Cool. I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, I did not like the setting of the last one with the jungle and everything. That wasn't for me, unless that was 2 Far Cries ago. See, I'm lost.
It actually might be technically like 3, because Primal was the last one, and that went like way back in time. And then there was 4, which was in kind of like a fake Tibetan area, and then the 3rd one is the one where you're on like an island in a jungle and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it jumps around a bit, and it's
Yeah, I've been in it since Far Cry 2, which was probably one of the most difficult ones, because on top of having like malaria in that game, which like you would lose like your vision, you had to take like pills, like your guns were jamming all the time, and it was a tough game. But I've watched the series evolve and grow, and I'm excited about this one. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's gonna like ruffle a lot of feathers. It's in Montana, and like there's cultists, and it's like religious and stuff. It's like I don't think it's gonna be like that, big of a deal. But
and refresh my memory. The first one came out on Xbox, is that correct? Or so was it 360?
You might be right. It might have been the original Xbox. I never played the first one, so I'm not exactly sure.
I remember playing a little bit of the first one, and I think it was very primal. I can't remember a lot about it. I just remember.
I think it was tropical, from what I've heard. Like it was on like an island or something, kind of like.
Yes, you're running around, and it's first person, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I remember it a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm excited. I think if a video game can kind of tackle this type of like kind of, gray area or whatever, I'm sure there's not going to be like one person in this game, who's like the complete bad guy who is like really to one side, like religiously or politically. Like maybe they will be, but I just think it'll be fun. I think it's just going to be a fun time. Run around with your buddy on 4-wheelers shooting cultists.
Yeah. I think it could be fun. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah. The next game, I know you're so excited about talking about Steep. You really want to talk about Steep? The expansion stuff?
Let's talk about SSX 4 or 5, I should say.
Yeah, I wish they would. It'd be more fun like that.
listen, that's the kind of game I want. I grew up with SSX and SSX Tricky. Some of my favorite games, even the third one. Loved the playlist. I found out about so much music from those games, and they were awesome. Loved them.
Yeah. I did play a little bit of Steep. I didn't buy it, but I remember thinking like, this is like a really, 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 really good $20 game. And the rest of it, I was like, if snowboarding and skiing were like the same thing to me, paragliding was horrible and the wingsuit was okay, but I still like the wingsuit in Just Cause 3 better. And that's what this new, like the Crew 2 looks like, but for cars, boats, and airplanes. It's like the same thing. It's just like, just drive around the city, fly around the city. It's just like, okay, like that's why that game didn't really impress me, especially along with Steep being right there next to it.
Sure.
Or in there, I was like, like I don't really like, I don't like whatever.
And I guess you never know. We'll see. I guess when it comes out, and figure out if it's worth it. And
sure. I'm sure Joe's excited about it. I would be remiss, or I'd feel remorseful to not bring this game up. I think this was the one, Levi. I think it's Starlink Battle for Atlas. I think their motto is adapt and overcome. Which when I heard that. I had like people talking to me about this too. Like I had a buddy tweet me, he's like, I almost fell out of my chair. Or, like text me, I was like, yeah, I don't. They're taking my catchphrase. No, it's not just my catchphrase, but I was like, oh my gosh, what is this game? But I was like, it's fine. My question though for you, not talking about Starlink, one of the last games, for them, South Park. Do you have any interest in this new South Park, Levi?
No, I'm not a big fan of South Park. To be honest, I liked it a while ago when they were starting to get into the political realm and making some of those really hot button topic episods, like about Britney Spears in 2007. I think that era I liked. I stopped watching it after then though. It got to be too much and too much of the same stuff, and we get it, And I don't think that there needs to be a video game about it, but hey, there's fans for everything. So
yeah, true. Did you think that was weird? I was gonna say I'm pretty much just there with you. I'm not a huge South Park fan, so that doesn't do anything for me. I'm just glad it seems like they have like a date or roughly tentative now. Like hopefully, those dates they'll announce one, then they'll be like, actually we're pushing it back. But
for the mobile game or the Fractured Butthole?
Fractured Butthole.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
And I mean, the last game looked pretty interesting. What was it called? The Stick of Truth?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one looked pretty interesting. I liked the. I heard a lot of good things about the turn-based style of it.
Oh,
so
cool, nice. Mm-hmm. All right. And then the last thing I want to talk about, we only got like a little like kind of teaser for it, but Transference with like Elijah Wood, and
what?
Like, did you not see this thing?
I didn't see it. No, I didn't see this. What is this?
It's like I honestly I'm not sure if it's like a horror thing or it was like he was talking to you and he was like working with this company and it was very strange. I was just like looking at him like, what the?
Hey.
What is this?
It's 2017, and I'm still looking for that damn Wrangler. You gotta help me out.
Poor Frodo. I mean, poor he's company. Yeah, not really a lot to talk about with that. I just thought it was kind of weird and interesting. You have to look it up. It's very, very strange.
So what, they're using him the same way they're using Daryl?
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't think it's the same thing. I think it's a little bit different than that. Different than that. The last game I want to talk about, though, Assassin's Creed Origins, which I'm excited about.
Just kidding.
I'm excited, but you're just like, I'm so bored.
I think it looks actually pretty good. I watched that gameplay trailer with you. I think it looks pretty cool. Honestly, I think it looks pretty cool.
Do you like the setting of this one? Do you like Egypt?
Yes, I like Egypt a lot.
Okay. I haven't heard anyone say otherwise.
Being able to go into a pyramid and like get some treasure and kill some people in there, and I think that might be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm really hopeful because they took like a year off to kind of work on this a little bit more. Looks like the combat has changed a little bit. It seems a little, for lack of a better term, kind of Souls-esque, where it's like you lock onto one person, you kind of dodge around that person and kind of fight. I'm not sure as much about like multiple opponents if they're going to do the same old like, oh, we make a ring around you and one person attacks, another person attacks. But between that and just the diversity of the landscapes and all this stuff, I don't know. It looks really cool. I'm excited about it. I've always wanted to go to either Egypt or feudal Japan in Assassin's Creed, and finally we're getting that. I just want to know about the character because that's always been hit or miss. The Assassin's Creed franchise. Sometimes their main protagonist is like a Connor from Assassin's Creed 3. These are like really boring and stupid and bad. And then sometimes you get like an Edward Kenway who's like a lot better, or Ezio who's like excellent and like he's so cool. And that's why they made a trilogy based on the guy. So I'm really hoping we get some more. I was hoping we get some story stuff from one of these things, but Oh well, hopefully it'll be good. I'm nervous because like when they showed it at first, I was like, is this even an Assassin's Creed game? And then they're like, oh yeah, there's the dude at the hood and all that stuff because it's just showing off a bunch of things. So
Well, and I think that's cool that you can question and be like, is this an Assassin's Creed game? I want that variance. I want it to change a little bit.
Sure, yeah, that's actually a good point, man. Because usually I'm not sure how I feel about the whole using an eagle as like your UAV. From somebody who's been playing a lot of Ghost Recon, I'm like, oh, so now my eagle's just my UAV. Like Ubisoft games are like homogenizing those. It's like before you go into a base camp, have your eagle be like, God, there's somebody over there.
We'll see about that. That's definitely an interesting gameplay mechanic that they were coming out with. Could be good. Could be very good.
Exactly. We didn't see Eagle Vision yet, so I wonder if you'll like get that at the end of the game, or if it won't be in this game at all, and like your Eagle will be like your Eagle Vision. So you're like, all right, he's over there, he's over there, he's over there. Yeah, but I'm excited about it because it's just new Assassin's Creed, and it looks like it's moving in the right direction, and hopefully with all the RPG stuff that they had in there, it'll be good. The one big problem, though, Levi, is that they like cut to it during the press conference, at like them playing it somewhere, and there's like sun coming through, and there's like they're talking about it, and the guy was like introducing, he's like, guys, you can't really see it very well, but it looks incredible. I'm like, you don't want that in any press conference. Like, you don't want to have something. It looks good. Trust me. Everybody trust me. But yeah, Ubisoft, pretty good showing. Oh, and the last thing, completely forgot about this. The opening of this press conference, one of the jolliest openings ever. Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Freaking XCOM.
That was great. Absolutely great.
Shigeru Miyamoto comes out there back to back with Yves Guillemot. They have their guns or whatever. Like, that's such a cool E3. Like, your money shot is right there. Those guys going back to back are shooting at each other.
Yes.
So jolly.
Nintendo wins every time, unfortunately. Even if they don't even come out with any new games, they still win for some reason.
Like, to me, that game almost seems like better than, not that it deserves to be, but it just seems like it's so much more than I expected it to be. I thought it was just going to be some sort of stupid little, like, just run around and blow stuff up with the rabbits and Mario's going to be there, But I'm just really excited to see that game in action a little bit more. It makes me kind of want to switch a little bit, Levi. I don't know. How do you feel about this game?
Sorry, Jim. Can cut out there a little bit. Can you repeat that?
Oh, I said, are you excited about the Switch? Are you excited about getting this game for the Switch? Would you want this game?
Yes, it looks a lot of fun. I love Mario RPG. I think that's going to be great. I'm not a huge fan of the Rabbids, but I think it looks awesome. Honestly, it looks really fun. Looks like something you can play portable, and I think that's what I love about the whole Switch is that you can play it on the go. Yeah, looks great.
Yeah, do you like XCOM or anything like that? Because that's kind of what this game, I would say, it looks like a lot.
No, I have looked into XCOM, and no, that's not something I'm super interested in. No.
So playing this new Rabbids game, does that make you? Would you want to still play?
It looks doesn't it look a little Fire Emblem-esque? I think that's what I took away from that.
It's basically Fire Emblem and XCOM. They're kind of in that same kind of group where you kind of like air up to like cover and stuff. XCOM's usually just more about guns, though, which this one seems to be about. Whereas Fire Emblem, there's a lot more of like, I'm going to beat you with this axe, But I don't know. It looks really cool, and I just thought that's such a cool way to open your press conference. And all that tells me, Levi, is that Nintendo is okay with working with third-party developers to use their IPs to make something different. Which I think is really cool. So that means like that a new Super Mario RPG is not a complete impossibility. Like if Nintendo says, hey, we're not going to make this in-house, and another company's like, hey, guys, we'll make this if you work with us. They'd be like, all right, sure. Like that would be incredible. Like think about like Square making Super Mario RPG like nowadays. Like, that'd be too much for my little heart to take, Levi. That'd be too much for my heart.
Let's talk about Odyssey. Oh my gosh! I don't know if you're getting there.
We can jump to Nintendo. We can jump right to Nintendo.
No, we don't have to. We don't have to. But that was a hot topic.
Okay, hot topic. Okay.
Sorry. Keep
going.
No,
that's fine. That's totally fine.
Yeah, Odyssey. No, it looks great. Rabbids look great. I think that Rabbids and minions just need to be burned in a fire. But hey,
Fair enough. All right. Yeah, I would like a Rabbids minion crossover game. I could see it.
Oh God, please no.
Anyway, moving on. Bethesda, which I watched after I watched Nintendo. I kind of heard the games that were announced. There's only really two kind of big games that kind of came out of this: The Evil Within 2 and Wolfenstein. Which like Wolfenstein Colossus? I have to double check this. But do either of these games interest you at all, Levi?
Not at all.
Not at all?
No, not at all. And I'll tell you why. Skyrim VR for the PlayStation, Skyrim VR for the Xbox, Skyrim Breath of the Wild that they have coming out on the Nintendo Switch. Like, what is happening? Like,
yeah.
In 2052, they're going to be like, ladies and gentlemen, we are bringing Skyrim to the PS8. Get out of here with that.
Yeah.
Leave it. It's been done. It was a great game. I know you're not a huge fan of the Skyrim series, but I loved Skyrim, and I'm tired of revisiting it. And the fact that they're not even working on an Elder Scrolls 6 yet is just crazy. Crazy to me. But
I think they are working on it. Just going to be years out, though. I think that's the problem. Is like people ask Todd Howard, and he's like, "I just came out Fallout 4," and I just
read an article. He's like, "We're not working. We're not even in development until The Evil Within and Wolfenstein are done."
Yeah, the new Colossus, by the way.
Yeah.
Sure it's right. But yeah, for me, Skyrim, the problem I have is that it just the faces and the people and the story just aren't that interesting. I don't feel like I'm in that world. I've always feel like it's just like I feel like detached from everything and everyone, and it's just rough for me. And I just hate seeing that game everywhere. And also the Zelda stuff in Skyrim, the guy himself, like the shield and the sword look great, but the guy himself, he looks so horrible. Like they didn't make a new Link out.
I know.
Like, it's so
it looks scary.
It's terrifying. It's
they didn't even use an elf. They used a human. It was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, you can. Why wouldn't you pick it up?
I don't know. I don't know, but I personally love the Skyrim series. I love Elder Scrolls, love Oblivion, but they just got to stop being that dead horse.
Yeah.
You did the remaster. Just stop.
Yeah, they just don't hold up. That's all I'm trying to say. And
I am interested in Fallout 4 VR. I will say that looks pretty cool.
Really?
Because you can do the workbench and everything, and I think that might be actually a lot of fun.
Okay, cool.
But we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, Wolfenstein, to me, that game looks great. I like how they showed that one off. It looks really interesting. I got to go back and play like New Order and stuff like that. I've heard it's very, very good. And The Evil Within 2, I'm not a huge survival horror game fan, but that game does look really cool. It looks really creepy, and it looks like there's a lot going on. There's a crazy trailer for it too, where it's like white goop everywhere.
That, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is cool. I'm into this. But besides that, the rest of that Bethesda press conference, I'm going to tell you guys this right now. If you haven't watched it, you could probably skip like 80% of it because it's so much of just like, hey, Skyrim and Fallout, we're doing VR versions and all this stuff. Like, look at our card game and Doom VR.
I love the card game. Stop.
I was joking about Doom VR, and then they're like, it's a reality. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess.
Did you say Doom VR?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, just stop.
Yeah, I don't know. Bethesda, this is why I get nervous when a developer or publisher wants to do a press conference like this, I should say, a developer, because it just felt like they didn't have a lot to show. With Ubisoft, I felt like there was a bunch of new stuff to show. Whereas Bethesda is more like, hey, these games are great and you should love these games. And aren't we all excited about these games? It's like, okay.
Sure.
All right. But yeah, Skyrim to me is a lot like Minecraft, like at Xbox. It's just like when they start talking about that some more. And I'm like, just guys, please, I get it. It makes so much money, but stop. Please stop.
Well, and all these companies with their card games, like Hearthstone was great for a reason. It has charm. Hearthstone has memorable characters. And it's quick and it's fun. You look like games like Gwent and these new card games coming out, and it's just like, no, stop.
I've heard Gwent's really good.
Elder Scrolls Legends, I have heard it, yeah.
Yeah, I played Gwent back in Witcher 3, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was really good, and I also really liked Hearthstone. They were two different things, but I feel like you're right. Everyone's trying to do like a card game. It's like, oh man, Hearthstone and Gwent are like a big deal. Let's do that too. Let's recreate that success. But it's just like, and Magic the Gathering, like still people really enjoy that game. But sure. I've never tried that one either. It's like, come on, why do we need a Elder Scrolls card game? Whatever. I'm sure people are excited about it. Anyway, Bethesda, not great. I didn't think. It was just because they didn't really show too many things that were brand new. Not that they need to show everything that's new, but a lot of it was like kind of self-congratulatory, like, the Skyrim blah 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 is the best game ever. It's like,
take a page out of Bungie and just don't even show up if you have nothing to show. That's just my motto. Like, if you have nothing to show, like, you didn't need to have a press conference yourself for showing off your card game and, showing that off.
It's almost like Rockstar in a way. It's like they don't usually show up to E3. They could do their own little press conference, and I think they probably have in the past, where it's like they could just show off like just Red Dead Redemption 2 for an hour, and people would be like, "This is incredible!" They didn't feel like they needed to do this every year. So
was Red Dead announced?
Oh, Red Dead 2 has been announced for a while. They announced it last October, the same day, I think, is the Switch reveal, or they're talking about Switch.
But no more details about it.
We've had like a little stuff here and there. It was going to be coming out this coming fall, but then it got pushed back to like April or May of next year, which is totally fine. Let it cook. And I think that's one of the reasons why Shadow of War got pushed also. I think there were some other reasons for sure, but I think knowing that they don't have to compete in any type of genre with Red Dead Redemption 2. I think everyone, it's kind of like Star Wars, Levi. It's like when they announce a day for that, everyone's like, everybody back off. Like everybody backs off like a couple of weeks. They're like, there's no point. Why would I try to compete?
Well, I'm not too surprised that Shadow of War was pushed back. I mean, it was literally just announced.
Yeah, exactly.
And it came out of nowhere. No one was expecting it. I mean, some people were expecting it, but most of the games that were showcased this year were games that have been talked about already. You know, Shadow of War, all these games. At last year's E3. So, you know, no one was expecting that Shadow of War announcement, and so for it to be pushed back, I get it.
Yeah, totally, exactly, and that's why I want to kind of get into Sony here, because Sony showed off some good stuff for sure, but a lot of it, you know, was just a follow up, pretty much, of last year. You know, we look at games like Days Gone, we look at God of War 4, or just God of War, and stuff like that. Was there anything in Sony that particularly stood out to you, though, Levi?
Anthem. Is it Anthem? Is that
the name? I forgot. Technically, that was with Xbox. I forgot to mention that one. My bad. Anthem. Please talk about Anthem. We will.
Yes. Anthem's so great. I thought Anthem was Sony. My bad.
Actually, it's going to be on Xbox. Xbox One X. It's going to be on Xbox One. It's going to be on PlayStation 4. And
it is going to be a PS4. Okay, that's what I thought. That's why I thought it was Sony. Oh my gosh, that game looks awesome. I was so scared at first, and I was looking at a new Titanfall, and you know how I feel about Titanfall.
Why do you hate Titanfall?
You know I hate Titanfall.
It's so good. Why do you hate it?
Hey, are you playing Titanfall too? No, because no one is. Let's be real.
I tried recently, and I was getting wrecked. The people who are still there, it's like people who play Call of Duty, and they only play that Call of Duty. I was like, I'm not a match for anybody anymore.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of Titanfall. But Anthem looks great. I think it looks killer. Everybody had their jaws on the floor after that reveal, and I think that's the new Halo killer. That's the new
Halo killer. Oh.
Everything. You know, I mean,
I'd say Destiny 2 is kind of more like a Halo, not
killer,
but yeah,
not a killer, but I mean, as far as like opening up a new franchise, I mean, that's what I mean by Halo killers. Starting a new franchise and really kicking off with the ground running, like.
So, you know, for people who haven't seen this, it's from BioWare, and they kind of teased it at EA, and I was like, okay, that looked really stupid. I was joking because I thought it looked like the Great Wall movie, Levi, because they just showed like a big wall, and then there's like a bunch of like monsters and stuff. I was like, oh, it's Great Wall, the game. But then actually seeing it, and you're kind of in like this first-person perspective, kind of feels like Horizon Zero Dawn at first, and then you get into this like exo mech suit that's like just like a little bit bigger than your body. It's not like a Titanfall mech. But then you go out and it switches to third person. So it's kind of like Destiny inverted, where it's like in Destiny, you're first person out in the field, third person kind of when you come back to the hub, like the MMO area, if you will. And then it's reversed in this game. But seeing this person like go out there, their buddy lands next to him in a different suit, like kind of a different chassis, different abilities and stuff, and then they both take off and start flying together into this huge world. I was like, oh my gosh! I was like, oh.
It looks great. It's got a lot of promise. But you know, I say this about everything: execution.
Exactly.
Totally. Oh my gosh! Don't let us down. I'm so tired of the vaporware. You know.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And we've been let down so hard recently. Like.
That's true. And the faces, first off, they looked really good. You know, people are like, face. That looked great. But also the kind of like a loot hunt too, kind of Destiny style. They kill something. It's like, oh, I got this gun. It's like, oh, cool. But they had these special abilities, very Iron Man-esque, very Titanfall style. But it's kind of like Just Cause 3 meets Titanfall meets Destiny. And
it's going to be a great mix of everything that we love.
And the world itself kind of reminded me of like Pandora from Avatar. Like there's one moment where they go into the water.
Yes. Yeah. It looked very... it had a very great setting, and I think that I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, it also looks gorgeous, and like at least 3-player kind of co-op, maybe more than that. That seems to be the number these days that they're kind of going for, kind of like Destiny's like Strikes. I think it is, not the raids, but they do like a 3-man team. But stuff like that, like little kind of just little groupings. But I just think it's really cool. And the way they have kind of them drop in, she's like, oh, we should call Kim in. And obviously it was like kind of canned dialogue, which I do not like. Sure. Ghost Recon did that last year. It was really horrible. Anyway, so some person just like drops in like right next to them. Kind of they do the Iron Man landing and kind of like look around. It's like, all right, hey, I'm here. It's like, all right, cool. We should go do this fight now. It's like, oh, sweet. And they all like kind of jump into this void. And it's like, what? I don't even know what this is. It's just one of those reasons I love watching these press conferences, because it was something completely new that I didn't know I wanted until now. And I'm like, yes, I want that game. That's the game I want. Anthem. I was like, this is a stupid name.
And that goes back to my comments about the Halo 3 reveal. It's things like that. That's what makes E3 so great, is those big reveals that actually it's just about the game. There's no talking. There's no bullshit. Like it looks great.
Yes, exactly. All right, Levi, though, back to Sony here. looks like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite's kind of going for an Injustice 2 like kind of storyline thing. Is any of that appealing to you? I like Marvel stuff, I like Capcom stuff, but I was like,
I'm not sure
right.
if I'm a big fan of the art style. It looked kind of Infinity almost, didn't it? Look like a little, yeah, it looked a little Disney Infinity. Looked a little. I don't know if I'm a big fan of that, and I don't know. You know, a few of the voice actors weren't there that I really relate to when I see their character, and like. And I'm like, really? You couldn't take your day out of your time, Rocket, Bradley Cooper, to come and do this voice acting? Yeah, like, come on.
They typically don't, though, which is sad. Like, a lot of those people don't do the voices for those characters.
And that I wish they could. You know?
Yeah, it bums me out. I don't know if it's like they choose not to, or they just say like, hey, it's a lot cheaper if we hire someone else besides Bradley Cooper to come in and voice Rocket.
This didn't even really look like a fighting game, though. They didn't even really showcase it as a fighting game.
Yeah, there's like a demo you can download now, like a story demo. So
Did you get it?
Yeah, I still have yet to see if it's just like story itself or if there's actual fighting. Because I typically like Marvel vs. Capcom fighting better than like Mortal Kombat because it's so fast and fluid and hectic. But I'm really digging Injustice 2 right now, so I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that anymore.
Well, Injustice 2 looks awesome. You know, it looks great. So
it is great.
That's the only thing that worries me is the art style and if it's going to live up to some of the fighters that are out right now, like the new Tekken's coming out. And
sure. You know, one thing that I thought was really cool, though, Black Panther and Gamora are kind of heavily featured in this trailer. And I was like, oh my gosh, Gamora. Like, it's so cool to see Gamora. Like, a few years ago, nobody even knew Gamora existed. You know, like in the...
If you would have told me, like, 3 years ago, if Gamora was going to be the central character, I would have been like, you're kidding me, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You know, other games that we saw here, this seems like a big deal, and I think it came out like on PSP or PS Vita, but Monster Hunter World or Worlds, which I usually associate with Nintendo, that seemed like a really big deal that was there. I was like, okay, cool.
I can't believe they acquired that. That's going to be great for them if they can pull it off. Like, it looks really good.
Yeah, for sure. And then another game that like I know you were freaking out about. I was freaking out because I saw it and I was like, I almost knew immediately, but I was like, Shadow of the Colossus remaster.
Yes,
makes so much sense. Like the best Team Ico or Eco game, and it's like, why haven't you done this before? Like it's like, okay, there we go. Like show me Shadow of the Colossus.
See, this is exactly what I wanted because I remember getting a PS4 just to play the HD version of Shadow of Colossus on it. Or was that PS? No, they brought it to PS4, didn't they? Or was it PS3?
PS3, I think it was.
Yes, I remember getting it. I was like, God, it's just not the same. I mean, like, it's a little updated resolution, but I want a real deal, remake, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. I think Blue Point.
Is there a release date attached to that? Or is it going to turn into like a Final Fantasy VII?
I don't know. I can look that up. While I look that up, Levi, do you want to talk at all about God of War?
I think it looks good. I feel like they're taking it in a little bit of a different direction. I think that it could be really fun. Definitely looks less arcade. Does that? I feel like the other games look very arcade. If you understand what I'm saying by that, but
yeah, one thing I'm kind of nervous about. They're doing the same thing, and I've mentioned this probably on here before too. But Darksiders 3 is doing this where they pan in the camera a little bit more, so there's not as many enemies you can fight. So I don't know if that just means that like the resolution and the frame rate will be higher because it's not as panned out. So I think it's going to be less of like an action game and more of like still action but more story adventure, and that makes
more Last of Us kind of.
Exactly, yeah, for sure. And I'm nervous that the combat isn't going to feel as good because even if it was arcadey, like the combat usually in God of War felt great, and I hope it still retains that kind of visceral. I want more brutal things, and they showed a little bit of that. So I'm not seeing. Oh, they didn't give an exact release date, but they said it would be coming in 2018, Levi, for Shadow of the Colossus.
2018, okay, great.
Yep. Last thing I want to talk about, we talked a little bit about Days Gone. Kind of looks like, a little bit like Horizon in a weird way, but instead of like get rid of the mech dinos and put in zombies and stuff, it's fine. It just doesn't feel like it has a lot of personality to me. This
is the game with Norman Reedus?
More or less, yes.
Okay.
Not really. That was like what you could say that was PT, or you could say that's Death Stranding. But yeah, basically
that's the game I was thinking of. Yes, is that a real game?
Yeah, it's a real game.
Okay,
we don't know what it's going to be.
Teasing it, but is that is it a real game? Because everything's just so vaporware these days. I'll see it I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, for sure. And the last game I'll talk about, Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
It looked good. I think it looked good. A lot of people were complaining about it. Some little
Why are they complaining?
Little haters online, just
Yeah, sure.
complaining.
they're like, I would say one parallel I draw right away, it was like right before he started getting into a fight, it was very Predator style of like Batman Predator, you know, like when he's like kind of creeping around, he's like taking out thugs one at a time. But I thought it looked really good. I just wanted to honestly see them just play for like 5 minutes in the open world, not necessarily a story thing. I just wanted to see them just swinging around, because it took forever to get to that first swing, and I gotta swing in that game to know if it's good. You know what I mean? Like that's the one thing I'm like, I got this.
The mechanics for the web slinging and the fighting look really fluid and look really cool.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be great. Is Tom Holland voice acting this?
No, this is, I think, Yuri Lowenthal. He did Sasuke.
Okay.
You know, he basically does every 16-year-old boy in anime. But this one's cool because it sounds like, from what I read from Story-wise, not spoilers, but it just said like this Spider-Man, he's been doing this for a few years. It's not his first day on the job. It's like, no, I've been Spider-Man for a while. I'm used to this type of thing. So I'm just excited to see more of that Rogues Gallery. We saw Wilson Fisk, you know, the Kingpin on his phone or on a phone. And I was kind of hoping we get like a Venom tease or a Goblin tease. But being that it's not connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe or anything like that, I think that's really cool, because it's not like, hey, we have to have this out on a certain day to coincide with the movie and the villains. It's like, nope, just its own thing. It's going to be a great game, hopefully. So, yeah, I'm really excited about it. A lot of QuickTime events, though. Little nervous about that. I kind of wish that we could get to a new age of QuickTime events where if I hit any button during a QuickTime event, it would do something different. So instead of just like webbing up like a piece of like a chopper blade coming down, he would just like kick it off to the side if you hit circle instead of like triangle. But it looks like it was very specific on what you got to hit. So yeah, Insomniac's a good developer. What can I say?
It looks promising. I know the last Spider-Man game didn't do so well for the PS4, I believe. I watched you play it. Not the PS4, PS3.
Oh, wait. Do you mean PS2?
Oh, man. Was it that long ago where you were exploring the city trying to collect all the
Spider-Man 2? Yeah, that's the one with Doc Ock.
I can't believe that was that long ago.
Fun fact about that game, some of the best swinging ever. Spider-Man 3 wasn't that good, but I didn't realize this in Spider-Man 2. Like, you're supposed to, when you're fighting Doc Ock, you're supposed to, like, dodge and then hit a button to, like, web up his tentacles. I used to fight Doc Ock just by straight up punching him and, like, not trying to dodge and do all that stuff. I was just like, I was going to punch you to death. That game was so much fun, man. The swinging.
Was it really on PS2?
That one, Spider-Man 2 was.
I remember at your house watching you play a Spider-Man game, and a lot of people online were saying, oh, this isn't going to be as good as Spider-Man 2. And I'm like, wow, you're still relating to that long ago. It's
just a very good game. One of the best movie tie-in games I've ever been. There's so much to love about that. I also remember on the Chrysler building, there's like green feathers for like the Vulture, like was there. And I was going up there, I'm like, is Vulture here? Can I see him? That's cool. It's so cool. Anyway, Levi, we're finally moving on to the last press conference here. Nintendo. Now you want to talk about Mario Odyssey? Please don't let me hold you back.
Odyssey looks fantastic, and from what I've heard, people that have actually gotten to play it say that it plays amazing too.
Okay.
It's got a lot of promising for it, and I think it's going to be great. It looks really cool. It looks like they're taking a different direction. No cats this time.
Yeah.
It's the hat thing, and the hat can go on top of dinosaurs. I love it. I love it. Give it to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was rubbing my eyes there for a second because I was just like thinking of how they did the reveal, and it's like a T-Rex comes out and then it turns as like a little hat on its head, and I was like, oh my gosh, this game is like so jolly. Like, it's the jolliest freaking game.
Yeah.
It just looks like old. They're finally doing, like with Breath of the Wild, they're just taking the formula, it seems like, from the N64 era and then just bring it to the new age, which people have been asking about. Not that Super Mario Galaxy or Galaxy 2 was bad. It's like, this seems like the successor to Super Mario 64. It's just like a bunch of just like little worlds.
Well, I was going to ask that too. Are they doing the same kind of gameplay where it's kind of like Mario 64?
For sure.
Has anything actually done gameplay
Galaxy, kind of, but they have a little bit more of like Ratchet and Clank, where you get on like a tiny planet and you kind of run all the way around the planet kind of stuff, you know, where you're like kind of like big compared to the planet. This one seems more of like, hey, you're in this little like world by itself, and like, here you go. They haven't really done anything like that. Like, I think of Super Mario World and like the cat stuff, and it's like that wasn't the same. Like,
no, it wasn't the same. It was just very
like a third-person perspective, strictly. And like, but I think people are excited about it. Since, or maybe even Super Mario Sunshine, you could call being like a successor to all of that. But
I would love to see an actual sequel to, Super Mario 64. Maybe this is the closest we're ever going to get. So.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised, Levi, if you at one point in this game, people would lose their minds and just spew blood. But if they're like the last level or it's like a secret thing, it's like, oh yeah, you can just go into Princess Peach's castle. Oh, and we up-resed all the old worlds, so you can just go play in there. People would be like, oh my god!
I know, people would lose their minds.
People would be putting the hat on the old school Bowser, and Bowser just walk off the edge. I'm calling it right now.
That game.
there's going to be something like that in this one. But I don't know. It looks great. You know, between that and Zelda, and then their other huge announcement, Levi, which might have to do with our little friend Arcanine over here, but not Pokken Tournament.
Pokemon RPG.
Pokemon, like, for God's sakes, it's about time. Like, they announced a few things this time. It was like that and Metroid. It's like,
is
it's
this
coming,
the game that's actually going to get you to get a Switch?
Levi, like, my dream, it is, but it's probably, I hope it's not just a port of like Sun and Moon. My true dream.
They're gonna hit you with a whammy. They're gonna announce Super Smash Bros. And the Pokemon RPG, and then you're gonna be like, "Yep, I'm getting the Switch."
I would, while I'm streaming this next year, maybe you'll be here, but you might have to like throw some water on me because if they throw a third-person perspective Pokemon game where you're running around in like a fully realized Pokemon world, and then you go battle and you switch to the Pokemon's perspective, like third person, you're dashing around, dodging, like fighting and stuff. I may pass out. I might just and then just die. I don't even know what to do. I'd be like,
giving the fans exactly what they want. I don't know if they'll go that far, but
like and this is the thing that's made me worried, Levi. In the past, the people who've made creative Pokemon, they said it'll always be on a handheld device of some sort, because that's part of it, that we like the portability, we like all that type of thing. It means more because it's always with you. Because of Switch, and even though I'm not a huge fan of the style of how the Switch is presented, if I can get that Pokemon game because they think it's like a portable device, which the Switch totally is, I will buy a Switch. My hands will literally be tied. If I'm walking around Kanto region and I'm like walking into Pewter City, I will lose my mind, Levi. I'll be like, this is the best. It'll be the best RPG in the world to me. I'll be like, yeah, like my childhood.
And it makes me super nervous because people are going to be so leery about it.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah, me too.
They've tried before, like Pokemon Coliseum, DX. You know what I'm talking about? The one with Lugia on the cover.
Yeah,
they tried to make a third. Yeah, they tried to make a 3D game like that. Pretty decent, but nothing's been super successful. And it's gonna be scary.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm nervous about it, and I will be the most critical person about it too. But I think if they just show me just a trainer, a customizable trainer that's just walking around in just even Pallet Town, and I'm walking into a Pokemon Center, I will be tearing. Like I'll start crying. I'll just be like, this is exactly what. Like think about like walking into like Blaine's gym. Like if you're walking into a volcano or like underneath. Like,
that would be awesome. That would absolutely be awesome. So what do you think? Do you think like this game is going to be a catch-em-all? Like the games, and then.
That's the question. I would guess that if it's going to be a new core Pokemon game, it might be brand new starters. My hope, my super selfish hope is that it's just Gen 1, maybe Gen 2 stuff, where it's like just gold and silver. It's like areas.
They could be capitalizing on that Pokemon Go, popularity with which was super popular with Gen 1 and Gen 2.
Exactly.
So why not?
Yeah, that's what I'm hopeful for. And you're right, seeing Generation 1 be so beloved, and it always, I think, will be the most beloved one because it's always been there for the people who've been like from the beginning, like us. It's the thing that drives us to play these types of games. So I'm excited. Even if it is brand new Pokemon and all this stuff, I will play through it. I will probably just get like a Gen 1 team, and I will just try to like cut through the game, be like, yep, my team's still the best. Like, I'll be like, Arcanine, let's do this. Yeah, man, that'd be incredible. And then think about this too, Levi. What if they go super nuts and they say, actually, you know what? If you'd like to, you can start off with any starter Pokemon, any of them. Like, not even just those ones, but like any like first level Pokemon, like a Growlithe or something. Like, could they do that? I don't know if it'd be too hard to do that.
I think we're breaching into that Digimon world kind of feeling, and I don't know if I want that. I don't know. I don't know what I want, but I've always wanted a Pokemon game in a Skyrim kind of atmosphere, an open world. Huge open world that you can explore, and I would love that.
Think about it's like Pokemon Go to the next level, and then like if you and I were walking on the street and we ran to each other, and I'm like, oh, you guys got Switch, be like, hey man, you play Pokemon? You're like, yeah man. I'm like, do you want to battle? And like we have like a legit Pokemon battle on the street, and I'm just like standing out there, just like.
That is totally a possibility. Totally a possibility. If they're doing this in a style like I think they are, like Pokemon. Oh my god, what is it called? Coliseum.
Sure.
Pokemon. What are those games called?
Pokemon Stadium?
Yes, Pokemon Stadium. If they're doing it in like a tradition like Pokemon Stadium, I think that could be around the same.
Well, it'll be like Pokemon Go plus maybe like Pokemon Snap plus Pokemon Coliseum and Pokemon Stadium all together in one crazy thing. But that's how they'll probably market the game. would be my
Oh man,
guess.
I'm nervous. Like, they have so much riding on that. People are so looking forward to a game like this.
It'll be 2 people playing on the street, Levi, you and me, and then we'll turn into trainers in the game, and it'll be like, oh, you can battle anyone, anytime, anywhere. It'll be like, like, yeah, incredible. And then like, I don't know if like the Pokemon Snap feature would be in there. Where you could take pictures of Pokemon with your Switch if you're like at home, and you could like I'm taking them like from different angles. And then would they have things like in the real world? Like, hey man, if you do want to catch like a Dragonite, like it's kind of hard to find it in the game here. But if you go to these places, like they might add that type of like community thing where you run into people like, hey, you here for a Dragonite? Yeah, me too. Yeah, cool. That'd be really cool. Oh man, that's the dream.
We'll see. We will see.
The last game I want to talk about from Nintendo, besides Metroid, I don't know if you and I are big fans. I know, again, kind of like Monster Hunter and other stuff like that, not the same level. Metroid's on a completely different plane, but I know it's a big deal, and I'm excited for people for those games to come out. And it's like, come on, Nintendo, it's about time. You have Samus, and people are like, we want Samus. I'm like, maybe we should give him Samus. Like,
Exactly.
It's like, come on. Last one I want to talk about kind of reminds me of the old Kirby and the Crystal Shard game from N64, but new Kirby coming to Switch, like 3-4 player co-op or whatever, like changing powers, helping your buddies out, like turn into enemies to your friends. Looks like a jolly time, man. I don't know if you saw too much on that, but it looks really, really fun. Looks very pretty, and I was like, oh, Kirby. I love Kirby.
I missed the Kirby, release there, but we'll see. I'm pretty happy with my Switch, so I could feel like if I try any game out there, it would be pretty awesome.
Yes. Also, I do want to mention that Xenoblade Chronicles 2, that one for Ben Moore, that one looks also very good. I didn't play the first one, but I know that people are really excited and amped for it, and it's cool to see like a really kind of hardcore.
A pretty big, fan base. Yeah,
it's a hardcore fan base, hardcore RPG too. So that's cool.
I'm pretty happy about the announcement for the DLC, also for Breath of the Wild.
Sure.
Adding on to an already stellar game, taking Zelda and making it their first IP. And then making it as portable as Breath of the Wild is and how beautiful it is. Great job. Totally great job.
Will you get the amiibos at all?
And I've read a lot about this online too. People are like, amiibos, I'm not sure, but they look great. The Guardians, they look great. They did a good job making them. I know you're not a huge fan of amiibos because of your Infinity collection.
Disney Infinity! I love you, Disney Infinity.
Rest in peace. But I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
I know that I was watching the Skyrim feature, and they held up a Link amiibo, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
I will say though, like the amiibos can be pretty fun. I loved playing Super Mario Maker on the Wii U. Putting up an amiibo of like Pikachu or something, and then being able to play as Pikachu on Super Mario Maker.
Sure.
I don't know if you ever saw any of that, but that was pretty awesome.
That is cool. That's really cool, actually. I appreciate that type of thing, and I know Super Mario Maker is like one of the reasons to get a Wii U, which I was like, oh, that game does like a lot more fun.
Well, and if they make it for the Switch, it'll be even more, more reason to get it. But I don't know if they'll port it again.
Fair enough. All right, Levi, we're gonna do this quick. Where do you stack these press conferences? Remember, we got EA, Ubisoft. We had like Devolver Digital, but we're gonna kind of throw them out because I just don't want to count them right now. Bethesda, Sony.
Microsoft was the best. I think Microsoft was the best. Nintendo. Let's see. Sony, and then I would say Bethesda at the very end. And what was the other one?
Ubisoft and EA.
Ubisoft was pretty great. Ubisoft and all those probably at the end there.
I'd say Ubisoft for me, but Ubisoft at the very end with Bethesda and then EA. But then I would say Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony. Sony and Nintendo for me were kind of close, but just talking straight presentation wise, I'm not talking like the games that they all showed. I thought Xbox was
presentation wise.
Xbox was so unrelenting, and I loved it because, not that Sony didn't do that, but it felt like every time they were done with one thing cool, they're like, "Here's another thing." They're like, "Here's Ashen, here's Anthem, here's all this." It's too much, and I just really appreciated Xbox's style. Sony seemed a little too overblown. They even it was cool in the beginning to do the indie stuff, the Lost Legacy for Uncharted looks really cool. Audio was weird on it for us. But then they got to Days Gone, and they had actors as zombies hanging upside down. Oh,
that was great. I loved that.
I just thought it was too much for me. I was like, okay, guys, okay. But do you like that?
Yeah, I thought it was great. Speaking of just the press conferences, I would say Microsoft definitely still in the top. It just felt like you were in a boxing ring. Seriously, it just felt like you were getting hit one after another, and that's what EA should be. Bring on the games, bring on the excitement. Don't let up. Make it like a trailer for a movie, anything like that, and just just keep the flow going. I mean, all these other people, they'd get you hooked, and then they would be like, oh, well, now here's a game that we're not so interested in. It's like, oh, why?
Yeah, true.
Keep it coming. Microsoft did it smart, you know?
Yeah, and I think the other thing too, because even though it's hard to think that they even talked about Scorpio or Xbox One X at the beginning, because usually when a new console is unveiled, it's like the big deal. But like that didn't feel as big of a deal, and they focused on the games. Whereas Sony kind of went in, and then like midway through, they showed like a ton of VR stuff, which was fine, but it was like really like I was like,
that was weird. That was a weird segue.
It was a lull, and I was like, oh, this is so. I'm like, oh, man, I'm sure it's exciting for people who have PSVR, but I was like, this is just not for me personally. I was like, it lost me. I was just like, ugh. And they didn't show me the perspective of VR in these games. Like, why do I need to play this game where I'm a mouse called Moss or whatever and like play this on the VR? Why do I need to play on VR? Like, show me that. And it's hard to do that, convey it in a trailer. But yeah, I think Microsoft was really good. I thought Nintendo had a great little direct, like that half hour of just like, here's the games, like, and you're like, whoa, like there's stuff after stuff. You're just like, man, that was well done. The green screen was a little weird behind most of them. The guy from Pokemon was like actually at a desk, which I appreciated. He was like, he's like, hey, how's it going? Like, but everyone, like Reggie's like always on a green. Like, I'm here in Los Angeles. I'm like, you're not, like, where are you, Reggie? Like, you're lying. Yeah, those are definitely the best ones. And I loved Ubisoft, man. They did a great job too. I really, Shigeru Miyamoto coming out at the beginning. What a jolly freaking way to start your show. Best opening.
Ubisoft was great too. Yeah.
Yeah. So cool. Good E3 all around. I thought it was really good. It wasn't like there wasn't all these like, oh, like Final Fantasy 7's coming and Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming. It's like, no, they didn't have that, which they didn't show Kingdom Hearts 3, by the way, Sony. I didn't like that. They did like an orchestral trailer before like the press conference or whatever. I'm like, no, show that in your
Well, and that makes me nervous. Like, is it coming out? Like, and I know a lot of people online were complaining that a lot of this year was just a rehash of things that we've already seen.
Sure. Bethesda especially was just like, hey guys, like here's a VR thing, and I'm like, I guess. But yeah, you're totally right. And that's the thing. Like some E3s, I think you have to wait like almost 5 years before they come out, and they're like, hey, there's these huge things coming out, and then you have kind of a few years where it's a little bit less impactful in the press conference itself. So that's
absolutely.
Okay,
yeah.
Anyway,
all in all, pretty great E3. Some more than others, but
yeah, definitely. I would say it was solid. At least like I'd say like an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, 8 out of 10. That sounds about right.
It's good. It's good. All right, Levi, time to move into the next segment of the show that we like to call Timekillers. Now, in Timekillers, we're talking about the games we've been playing, the movies we've been watching, the TV shows we've been viewing, and the press conferences we've been analyzing. So, obviously, you know, Levi, you and I have been watching a lot of E3 stuff, but have you been watching any movies, playing any games, or anything like that?
I'm playing a lot of Blizzard games right now, like I said before. Big Blizzard fanboy. You recently just got me back into Heroes of the Storm.
I'm proud of that.
I love that they are coming out with relevant characters all the time. Got to give it to them. The community feels a lot better on Heroes than it does on League of Legends.
Yeah, it's not as vitriolic. Yeah,
if you're gonna play good MOBA, let's go there. Let's see, Overwatch still killing it.
World of Warcraft, right?
Yep, still playing WoW. Just got back into Legion for a little bit because I finally got my computer set up.
Cool.
But got some games going on. Definitely, excited to see all these Marvels. Black Panther and Guardians was awesome. And
I was gonna say we could have talked about that this week too. That trailer for Black Panther, man.
They're having a good year.
It looks in 2018, like we're having Thor Ragnarok in November and the Black Panther in February of next year, but still I'm just like, and then Infinity War comes next year. It's too much. I love it so much. But yeah, so that's everything you've been killing time with.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Nice. For me, I started watching like some of the CW shows that are popping up here on Netflix.
Okay.
I finished that next season of Flash. Flash is probably one of my favorite shows right now. It's just really fun. There's like a lot of goofy stuff in there. I love Wentworth Miller, the guy from Prison Break. He plays Captain Cold, and he has like he's in there once in a while, and I love him. But I just such a fun, uplifting, kind of just lighthearted show for the most part. There are dark moments, but in like comparison to Arrow, which I'm watching now, which is so much darker and just like, I gotta save the city and so many people are gonna die, and it's like, all right. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been watching, and then I've just been playing Injustice 2 every chance I get, and trying to finish up Persona 5 because I still plan on reviewing it. Thank you for staying with us, Legionaries. So I will do it.
Yeah, quick question about those kind of games. Shin Megami Tensei and Persona 5, are those all in the same kind of family there? I've seen a lot of...
I believe so. I don't know exactly how they tie together, but I think there is...
There's so many of those games. I can't believe it for 3DS and everything. It's crazy.
Yeah, but the nice thing is it's kind of like Final Fantasy where you don't have to have played like Persona 2 and 3 and 4, to play 5. Like you can just hop right in and you're like, oh, cool. You know,
So I'm glad you told me that. That's been making me like not want to get into it. But
for sure, I would lend it to you, but I just think you'd never ever beat it or ever play it. You'd be like, oh
probably
yeah,
not. Yeah, probably not.
You jokingly send me a picture of you using it as a coaster. I'd be like, Levi, what are you doing? But yeah, so that's what I've been that's what I've been killing time with. But now, Levi, it's time to move into my favorite segment of the show: community feedback and questions. So we had a lot of E3 stuff. First question from Night Warrior 29 says, which company's games are you most excited for, and what are your top 3 games of said company? Levi, was there any press conference or company where you're like, I really am like excited about that?
Let's see. I really want to see. I mean, just the games I'm thinking about right now. I want to see Shadow of War. I'm very excited to play that. I would love to play the Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'd love to see Kingdom Hearts 3. Nothing really specific. I mean,
you could say Sony then. Let's say Sony.
Yeah, Sony, I guess. But I mean, I'm not even a huge Sony fanboy. Like, all that stuff's coming to Xbox anyway, so, you know.
Well, not Kingdom Hearts 3 or FF7.
Maybe I think Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming to.
You know what? You might be right.
Yeah, it totally is.
I think somebody told me that a while ago, or maybe it was you saying that like those ones are kind of going more cross-platform.
That's the same thing with Final Fantasy. Yeah, I got Final Fantasy 15 on the Xbox.
Yeah, so. I did too. I should know that by now, but it just seems it would be so weird. It's like playing Banjo-Kazooie on Xbox. It's like playing Final Fantasy VII Remake on Xbox would be just kind of like a almost surreal experience. It's like
but it's not even like Final Fantasy VII anymore. It's a completely different game. And
exactly.
Yeah. How about you?
You know, I'm gonna kind of do the same thing you did. I'm gonna say Microsoft, even though it's like not their games. Anthem.
Yep, Anthem.
Another one that we didn't really talk about, but Ubisoft Skull and Bones. I'm kind of sad that you don't actually get to jump on other people's ships or like explore the world. I'm not sure how that's gonna work, but it's like just the naval combat from Assassin's Creed 4 and partnering up with other people and playing like that just looks incredible to me. I just talking about other pirate games, that looks really cool to me. And then yeah, I don't know, like a third game from like that Microsoft talked about. There's a lot of them, but I probably for now will just say Shadow of War. That does look really cool to me, and I love Lord of the Rings. I love it. I love it so much, Levi.
Well, it's coming at a perfect time too, where you're like not going to be outside as much, and you're going to be. It's going to get colder for us in here in Minnesota.
Game, buddy. Yes, sir.
People in the warmer areas don't understand, but we Minnesotans, we hibernate. we start to play our games in the winter.
Yep, it's hard to play in the summer because it's so nice out. All right, question from our friend Fragadin says, Echo Critical, what do you think the suitable penalty is for Nintendo not announcing a new Animal Crossing for the Switch? # Critical Podcast. All right, what penalty do we give them, Levi, for not announcing a new Animal Crossing?
Ooh, I don't really care about Animal Crossing. So. No, Animal Crossing is cool. I know a lot of people really like it. I personally don't really care for it, and I got it for the 3DS a long time ago, and I ended up not playing it ever. New Leaf or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
I know people like really get into it, and they like the whole feel of it, but yeah. I am excited for. Oh, sorry, just to jump on here for you. The new Harvest Moon. I don't know if you have looked into this at all, but the new Harvest Moon is supposed to be fantastic. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, it's for me, that's always like Harvest Moon 64. That's what I go back to personally. So like when they talk about Animal Crossing, I'm like, oh, I liked it on GameCube, but I was always more of like a Harvest Moon.
Yeah, and they're talking about bringing it back to that Harvest Moon roots. So I'm really looking forward to that if they can really do that.
Yeah, well, after Stardew Valley and the success of that, it's like, okay, that's just like a pixely Harvest Moon. It's like, can we bring it back to that kind of old weirdy kind of claymation-y style? Like that would be great. Yeah, so but the suitable penalty, I don't know. I think we just need to send a bunch of just sad puppy pictures to Nintendo until we get.
Well, what did they want? He wanted Animal Crossing for Switch or what?
Yeah, for the Switch. A lot of people did, and I think that was one thing that I thought they would maybe even tease. But I think this year was more of like, let's talk about Mario, Pokemon, and Metroid, which are other things.
I'm surprised that they didn't announce that IP, but there's always and Nintendo's very crafty too. They keep their tricks up their sleeves a lot, and right when you think that they're not going to announce something big, they hit you with something huge like StarCraft, Star Fox, Switch will come out or something like that. Yeah. You know that they do that kind of stuff. Nintendo does that, so
yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if we got some more news from them here pretty soon about upcoming games, but.
Yeah, we'll see it with Animal Crossing. Maybe it'll get its own little direct sometime. But I feel bad for all the people. Like, Kay, I'm sorry. Anyway, Beaten Down Brian asks, did Xbox One X do enough to sell you? And it sounds like for both of us kind of no, because we don't have the 4K TVs, and it's like
and I don't need like a gel cooling processor
Yeah,
for my Xbox, and
I will say the tech sounds so impressive, and that's the smallest Xbox ever, and all this stuff. I was like, wow, this sounds so cool. I just until my Xbox One is like completely dead, knock on wood, but like until I get like that or like a bigger television or all this stuff, it's like I don't really need that right now.
Well,
But
and I mean, it might look cool to see some of those games
at
a higher
best.
resolution. Like, because Final Fantasy 15, I was a little let down at how it didn't look that great on the Xbox One.
Yeah, it also had problems on PlayStation 4. That game just had some tech issues.
Yeah, and that's sad. I'd love to see it fully realized. I liked that game a lot. Final Fantasy 50 lost me though for a little bit there because I got kind of bored of the hunting and the story wasn't very engaging. And
sure, yeah, I get that. I like the cast, but I understand what you're saying there. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I loved the cast. Don't get me wrong, that was awesome.
I kind of wish you could switch out, like get Core the Immortal or Arana Highwind on your team. That Dragoon, she was really cool. I was like, yeah, just go.
Well, and what I really want is just a fishing game from. Oh, there is a fishing game coming out. Final Fantasy 15.
It's like, why? It's like, oh yeah, you got him, and I'm like, okay, here we go.
Oh,
yes, but I also asked all of our Legionnaires to send in kind of what was their game of the show. And for Dylan, he says, Age of Empires Definitive Edition. My childhood franchise is coming back, and it's magical.
Age of Empires Definitive Edition.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What is this for? PC?
I'm guessing at least. I don't know. I didn't see it. And then Night Warrior 29 also said the Anthem game 2018 GOTY.
Okay, yeah.
We'll see. I hope so.
Anthem was the big reveal. Anybody that was like, loved Titanfall, loved those kind of games, they're like, yes.
Yep, that's me. Our friend who was actually at the show, Ryan Lehman, he asked us, are you going to be at E3 next year? Are you and Joe or Levi? I would love to. I have no idea. We'll see. We'll see where we are in a year from now as far as like critical reviews and the Patreon and stuff. But we'll see. That'd be great.
I would say let's spend our money on going to BlizzCon.
I may know a guy who knows a guy. We'll see. Because BlizzCon would be they're doing it every year now for esports, which is totally fine because I just want to go. I just want to go. Blizzard.
I love BlizzCon. That would be awesome. Let's go.
I want Blizzard to just have a moniker that says, Blizzard, we don't make bad games. Because you know what? They don't. I just finished playing StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void, which I forgot to mention. But that game, like, I love StarCraft now. Like, I love all their franchises. Every franchise they make has so much love and personality and goodness and heart and soul. Blizzard, you're so good. I love you so much. Oh, my gosh.
They're killing it.
And then our last question from Jorn Evers. Standard question, but what is your game of E3 2017? Which one stood out the most to you? And for what reason? Hashtag Critical Podcast. Levi, is there one game that stood out to you specifically?
I mean, I hate to keep going to Anthem, but that game really hooked me. I mean, seriously, that was the halo of this year's E3. That was for me. That was the big reveal, the big IP killer. I think it's gonna be great, and I mean, as long as they execute, it's gonna be great. Like I'm just scared it's going to be another Titanfall, another Evolve, and just let me down. But and I think that we've just been let down so much lately that it's hard to trust anything anymore.
Apparently, one of the main writers from Mass Effect 1, 2, and Knights of the Old Republic for story is going to be writing the story for Anthem, which makes me feel good because in a lot of those games, the one thing that I never really questioned is like the story. I never really got into Knights of the Old Republic just because I didn't like the combat, but I heard the story was really good, and that just makes me feel good. So it's like they didn't show any story so much in this, but if there's like a really good story on top of all this, I'm like, oh my gosh, this game is going to be like Witcher. It's comprehensive. It's hitting you in a lot of places at the same time, which I love. That's a great thing. But yeah, probably for me too. Honestly, though, if they would have shown a screenshot or one little like 20-second thing of Pokemon RPG, like I would have been like, game of the show. I'd be like, you won. Like, I don't like to say a company wins, but if Nintendo would have shown Pokemon RPG,
oh my gosh,
I would have been like,
next year when they do that, because I know they will,
I'm gonna die. I'll die right here. I'll be like, or I'll be actually after E3. I'm like, I'm like, sir, and I'm like,
Well, and it's so funny. Pokemon has such a rabid fan base, even after all these years. People love it, like,
Yep. We just love it. We just love Pokemon. It's weird to think that Pokemon is like, there's like Pokemon and Digimon, but it's always just like Pokemon. Just something about it. It's just so pure, so good. Anyway, Levi, unfortunately, that brings us to the end of the show. But for any of our Legionnaires, if they are at all interested in sending us any questions to either of us or any topics or anything they want to see us cover in future podcasts, all you have to do is tweet the hashtag Critical Podcast. And you can tweet at me either at GoCritical or at my personal Twitter at JimmyGood013. Levi, you're on Twitter too. Where would the people tweet you at?
I'm not mostly on. I don't tweet very often, but you can always find me on battle.net. I'm Hitster #1731. You can always find me through that, or I am always with Jimmy on his streams.
He's lying.
Hey, I'm a frequent flyer now.
You can find him at Levi Fletcher. That's all one word on Twitter. Go follow him up.
You can follow me, but it'll take like a year for me to retweet you.
He's going to get on Twitter more. We're going to get everybody. We're going to get you and Thomas. Everyone's going to be on Twitter. It's going to be great because I'm going to tweet you guys, gify things or whatever. You'll love it. It'll be fun.
Battle.net's going to come out with their own Twitter, so we'll just...
Yeah, you're probably not wrong. Anyway, I also want to thank a few people. I want to thank This Is Dale for our amazing theme music, and I want to thank Yoren Evers for all of our art. And if you're thinking to yourself, hey, Jimmy, I'd like to get some of that art for myself, but I'd also like to support you. Well, fear not, Legionnaire, because you can do that. You can go check us out over on patreon.com/criticalreviews. And if you throw in even $1 a month, you can get a really cool avatar with your own personalized face on it. Or if you're at the $75 tier, you can get one that's completely customizable. You can change it and make it look however you want, whatever weapons you want. But yeah, go check us out over there. And if you can't support that way, best thing you do, share us with a friend. Just share us around because guess what? We're Critical Reviews and we're here and we're only getting bigger and better every day. So we appreciate you guys for checking us out for the first time, if that's who you are. And if you've been here for the 64th time, which a lot of you might have been too. We should have done a Nintendo 64 thing, Levi. Do you have any favorite N64 games, by the way?
Ocarina of Time.
Okay. Cool. I still have to go back to that one. Maybe when I play that game, I'll have you come over. I'll be like, all right, Levi, what do I do here? Yep. I really loved Pokemon Snap. Pokemon Stadium.
Oh,
Super Smash Brothers. Super Smash Brothers. That's like the best. Like one of my favorite games of all time. That game. I remember just playing as Pikachu, just using Thunder on the Hyrule Castle, go in that little green, like little area, like little building. You just sit there, and just Thunder.
Yep. Super Mario. Great games for the N64. Absolutely.
So good. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Levi, for coming on the show. I hope we can have you back again sometime.
Absolutely. Man. I had a blast.
It was a pleasure.
Hope you all didn't think I was too boring, but
no, please let us know if you liked Levi. Please tweet at us and let us know, or just say in the comments down below. Be like, we need more of Levi, or like whatever. Be like, more Levi, less Jimmy, or maybe.
But yeah, you guys can catch me. I'll be on Jimmy's streams. Please support Go Critical.
Thank you.
Yes.
We'll have you back on again sometime soon. All right.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much. And we'll be back next week. Not sure if Joe has seen The Mummy, but we'll see what we're going to talk about. But hopefully we'll have Levi again on sometime soon as well.
I will be seeing Wonder Woman this weekend. So I will.
Oh my gosh, I want you to report back on that. Yes.
I will. Yes.
Wonder Woman. Anyway, sorry about that. Just remember, thank you so much, everybody. And just remember to adapt and overcome. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.